Greetings, Patrick here. 8 questions with half Cheetah will view, and it's Tuesday, the first show of the week. And thank you guys all for rolling in here and watching it. I appreciate that. Those who are with us live, those who will be with us watching the replay. So we are welcoming back an old friend and a friend of the communities. The lovely Miss Jami Heart will be here. Um, and uh, and not only is Jamie coming back, but she's coming back with wearing a little royalty, as she has been voted the horror tuber of the month. And congratulations to her for that. She definitely deserves it. That's for sure. Hello, Sue. Hello, Anthony. Uh, Hopefully everybody is doing well and staying warm. It is a little nippy here in southeastern Michigan today. It is a little cold for sure. Um, so glad to be back. We had fun yesterday. We were on a little bit yesterday. I welcomed in Danny Nightmare from Horror Addicts, and he and I chopped up Daredevil 2003 and The Crow in 1994, the Return of the Midnight Society, and boy, we had a lot of fun with that. Wow, that was a fun conversation, and the chat was just flying yesterday. I appreciate that as well. There's Joseph, the vlog guy, in the house. He's back. And he's known as Joseph the horror guy. Now he's known as Joseph the vlog guy. Well, we're just glad you're back. We'll be talking with Jami Heart in about 15 minutes or so. And yeah, we're going to chop it up a little bit. It's always really fun to talk with Jamie because she loves her horror films, and she and I will be talking about our love of Van Helsing. We're going to be talking a little Lynch, a little Eraserhead. We're going to be talking a little bit about according to Rolling Stone magazine, by the way, number one horror film this year. Number one horror film this year was none other than this movie right here, Skinamarink, was her number one horror film according to Rolling Stone. I I can't go along with that. Um, I like I said, I hey David, how are you, sir? All right, all right. Let's see. Joseph says he still loves Danielle Harris. We all love Danielle Harris. And David is here. So happy to see him. Um, so according to Rolling Stone magazine, like I said, Skinamarink is the number one horror film this year. Now I can't go quite that far. It definitely is going to be. Hey, Boston Gamer, what's going on? Yes, yes, Skinamarink number one horror film according to Rolling Stone magazine. I'm not going to go with that one either, David. I definitely think it's definitely top 10 horror film of the year. I will say that for it. But as far as number one goes, no, I wouldn't do that at all. Oh, okay. Thank you. Congratulations to Anthony on that. Anthony's going to be another movie role. That's right. That's right. I'm hearing rumors. I'm hearing rumors and rumblings that the Coast to Coast guys are going to be reuniting sometime next year. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing the Coast to Coast guys are coming back together next year, and I, for one, cannot wait for that. Trust me. Uh, let's see. Have we had 10 horror movies this year? Uh, yeah, yeah. Actually, I could do 10 right off the top of my head. No problem. Um, None's better than Brightwood though. Brightwood was number one for me. But I got to throw the Goldsmith in there. I could throw Latent Images in there, and I for sure as hell, even though it's supposed to be coming out next year, but I saw it this year. I definitely would put the Glass Table into the mix as far as top 10 horror films. Sheesh. Actually, if it's only because I think it's only because of the Glass Tables coming out next year that it's not number one this year. But the Glass Table is going to be a rocket. That's going to be a ride when people see that. That's going to be very disturbing for a lot of people. Um, yeah, I heard that, David. I heard that from from a panel member from the guys from the Coast to Coast, supposed to be reuniting sometime early next year. Um, Evil Dead Rise, Scream, Scream 1000, no doubt, right? Voyage of the Demeter, Exorcist Believer. Well, you got to throw in Skinamarink in there. I put in Brightwood. I put the Latent Image in there. I put in the Goldsmith in there. Um, I have to do that. I have the Pope's Exorcist. I threw in there. That was a sleeper. Wow, that people slept on that, but the Pope's Exorcist was very good. No, we're not counting Wild Eye. No, 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 no. No, now I know Joe and I know Joe and Jason would be sitting at me calling me a snob, but I'm sorry. I'm just not going to go with no Wild Eye movies. No. Um. I see. What else did I watch this year? Hey, Stephen, how are you? Doing good. Doing good. Let's see. s- y- I know, David. That's why I have to. I'm bummed out because you know me. You know me though, David. I'm always watching the stuff under the table, right? I'm always watching that. I don't really do the big movies unless they come to me. Like I got the Pope's Exorcist at the library, and I got Skinamarink. I got Skinamarink from Bayview. They gave that to me to review. Let's see. He already has one New Year's resolution. It involves me. Okay, that's going to be that. I already know what that is. Stephen Chang is going to make a New Year's resolution to bring us Dina Meyer or die in the attempt. um, see, David mentioned he enjoyed Boogeyman and Cobweb. Um, and Talk to Me. I'm looking. I still have not seen Talk to Me. But I did watch The Den for the first time this year. I thought The Den and Bounded Vengeance were just a terrific 1-2 punch. Wow, it was that was whew, good movies there. Let's see. She is our horror tuber of the month this month. Uh, uh, Man, you get me Michael Ironside, you could have my seat. Man, Michael Ironside. I hear he's doing conventions again. So I guess I wonder if he'd be open to do an interview. I would shit. That would be like that would be amazing. My mind would be blown. You get Dina Meyer, Casper Van Dien, Patrick Muldoon, anybody from Starship Troopers would be awesome. Yeah, that's cool. That's right. Now is everybody getting ready to? I mean, it's already still the winter time, but I'm sure we're all planning to go to conventions earlier in the springtime. So, are you guys planning to go back to conventions once the turn of the year starts? I mean, I guess convention season pretty much starts in March these days. It used to start in the summertime, but now now conventions start or like March 1st. Uh, yeah, that's why I can't do 100% horror. As you all know, I watch a lot of different things. In fact, right now, even as we speak, I'm watching a movie called Sundays at Tiffany's, with none other than Alyssa Milano, and that is actually quite charming, by the way. Um, do you think I have any chance of seeing Danielle return to Halloween? Oh, I'm gonna sit there and say, why not? I say there's a 50-50 chance of her coming back to the franchise. Um, Steven, if you try to book a women in horror month, 31 days of women in horror month, and try to do that, oh hell. If you try to do 18 women in the horror month, like I tried, um, you would see why we don't do 365 days of horror. Uh, I don't know what Rob Zombie's going to do next year. I don't know. Crazy Eights was a great movie. I like that movie. Crazy Eights was a great. Um, I don't see why. I don't see why not. I guess David, what do you think? Do you think that Danielle has a 50-50 chance of coming back to the franchise? I don't think Rob Zombie's going to get another Halloween film. I don't think so. And I'm telling you, I don't think that like David Gordon Green, if that's his name is, I don't think he's going to get another Exorcist movie either. I think they're going to find another director for the next two Exorcist movies. They're not going to give it back to him. He might get a credit because but they're not going to give him another Exorcist movie. Too much blowback. Oh, you can. I don't know what is your 365 days of horror include? Does that mean writing or reading or watching a horror movie? Um, yeah, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. They just announced today that Saw 11 will be coming out on September 24th. So yeah, I don't know who's going to be in it. I don't know if they're going to bring back Tobin Bell again. Um, they might bring back Shawnee Smith. I mean, they could bring back Shawnee, but I don't think they're going to bring back. I don't know if they're going to bring back Tobin or not. Okay, promoting and watching. Okay, so every single day you're going to do something connected to horror. 365. That's pretty cool. I think people could do that. Um, I think it will be a sequel. A prequel. I think it's going to pick up from where Saw 10 picked up. So, which is a shame because I was hoping that they would. I was hoping for the Saw 10. I was hoping they were doing what they did with Final Destination 5, and that is bring it back to the original. Um, I would love for them. I would have loved to seen that happen with Saw 10, is to somehow bring it back and connect it with Spiral, and then move forward from Spiral forward. But they didn't. Yes, I do have a interview request out to Augie, so hopefully she will come back and hang out with us. Joseph is back. He just got himself a chicken wrap. Now I hope he brought enough for everybody. Sadie, yep, it's time for Sadie to come back. Okay, the doorbell has rang, and our guest is here. So thank you for coming in and hanging out, and let's go talk to Jami Heart. Ta-da!
Hi.
Hey, Jami.
Can you hear me okay?
We hear you perfect. We hear
Awesome.
you perfect. Yes. So the chat is already flying. We're already talking about 2024. 2023 is not even done yet. And we're already talking 2024. Yeah, it's been a pretty damn strong year for horror this year.
It has. It really has. I haven't got to see much of it though. Um, I think the last new thing I saw was Scream 6. And it's because I've been avoiding going to the theater basically.
Yeah, I wanted to get up and go and watch Thanksgiving. I didn't, but I'm definitely going to get it when it comes out. I don't know where I'm going to get it at because lack of physical media being sold. It'll probably
Yeah,
be sold at Walmart, so I'll just go get it over there. But I'm looking forward to seeing Thanksgiving.
me too.
Um, Everything I've heard about it has absolutely has me intrigued. Eli Roth is back in fine form. And that's good to see him back. I'm glad to see Eli Roth actually back making a movie, not just presenting one.
I agree. Although I'm not a fan of some of his movies because I don't really like the gore and the violence like in Hostel. I can't. I actually enjoyed Hostel 2 more than Hostel 1. I don't know why that is. Maybe I just didn't take it quite as seriously, but Hostel 1 I just didn't like. I've only watched it a couple of times, and I just the part where they're being tortured is just so brutal. I can't watch it. And I hate that movie Cabin Fever. Hate it.
I
Hate
know
it.
you were mentioning that. I saw you on one of your streams. You were saying how you hated it. I'm going like, oh my gosh, you can't be hating on that because that movie has Serena Vincent in it, and it has the shave scene, the razor scene where she's shaving
Ugh.
her. I have a thing about straight razors. They absolutely freak the hell out of me. So whenever I see a scene with a straight razor, it does like it just puts me on edge. It's like I don't. I mean, I like it if it's in the story, but they terrify me.
Yeah.
Straight razors, like yeah. I mean, but that scene there was cabin fever. Everybody was sitting there cringing, because she's shaving her legs, and I mean, it was like you could hear people exactly. That's exactly what they did at the theater. They went,
Yeah.
"Ooh,"
Oh,
it's
I
like
was super happy that I did not go to the theater to see that because I have to tell you, if I saw that on the big screen, I would have puked. I couldn't take it. I was like, this is gross. And then not only that, it's not just that scene though. It was one, I really hated the pancake kid. That whole thing was, I don't know what they were thinking putting that in there. It must have been really funny. I bet you anything that Eli Roth thought it was super funny, and that's why he kept it in there. I really was disgusted by it. I just, that kid drove me nuts. And every time I saw it after that, I would like fast forward through it. Um, and then the other thing that I didn't like about it is that I was thinking when I was going to watch that movie, I was going to see something like Evil Dead. Um, and it turned out to be about a flesh eating virus. And I was like, yeah, that's not my thing. So I
right.
wasn't scared by it at all. It didn't scare me. It just grossed me out. And that's not the kind of stuff I like to go watch.
Well, we watched the movie that Christopher Moore put out called The Children of Sin, and there's a scene in there where the villain is working with her straight razor, and that set me on edge so bad. I was like, I watched it, but I was like, if you would have touched me, I would have been like a damn cat. I would have had both my hands and my feet on the ceiling. If you would have like said, hey, what do you think? I would have been it because I was so like tensed up watching that scene. Like that's freaking crazy. Um, and Cabin Fever was, I think what really helped Cabin Fever for me anyway, and probably some of the fellas, um, but it was Serena Vincent, and she was quite good looking. So it was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a really disturbing scene, but boy, she's really pretty.
Jordan Ladd too. She's gorgeous, I think. And I also thought that her part was brutal, being put in that shed. And then what was it that was eating? Something was eating her face. Was it a dog?
Yeah, the dog killed her. Yeah.
That was just absolutely awful. I wanted to like it and I just didn't. Sometimes that happens when I'm watching something. I think I'm gonna like something, and then it turns out that I really didn't like it.
Let me come over to the chat real quick. I see some faces that rolled in here. Let's see. Hi, Scottish Geek Guy is rolling in here strong. Glad to see you here. Of course, our fellow San Jose State Spartan fan, Reed. What's going on, Reed? Anthony from Fever Dreamland Theater says, hello. I hear you about cabin fever. The gore element in some movies isn't for everyone. Very understandable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has their limits. I mean, everybody has their limits. And thank you for coming in, Anthony and Reed, and everybody. Everybody has their horror limits. The movie we're going to be talking about a little bit later is a movie called Skinamarink, and I heard a lot of people, they they hit a wall with that movie. They didn't know what to make of it. Some of them left them uncomfortable. Some people left confused. You had a headache.
Yeah,
Some
it
people
was
just, yeah,
hard to watch.
some people didn't understand it. That was mostly what it was. Most people I talked to about it, they just didn't get it. They just was like, I don't get it. What's going on? I don't get it. What's it
I
supposed to be
did
about?
spend a lot of time watching that movie going, "What's going on?" But it had nothing to do with the fact that I didn't realize what was going on in it. It was because of that filter. That filter was worse than any video game I've ever seen. Though, a lot of times video games, they'll put like that grainy filter over top of it, and you can choose to take it off. And I usually do, because the grainy filters, I feel like I'm trying to look through, like, when a window is like when you're driving down the road and the window
Right.
gets covered in rain. That's what it's like for me, trying to look through that. So I was having a really hard time with that, but I watched it. I watched the from beginning to end. I watched the whole thing because I
Uh,
knew we were going to talk about it. So I tortured myself. I put myself through that. So I hope you're happy.
I know. Hey, believe me, I feel you. I know what it's like to to torture yourself watching a movie. I mean, before I did my review of Hereditary, I had to watch it. So I had to pony up there, sit down, and go like, okay, I gotta go through this.
Hmm.
Um, does that hard for you? Is that hard for you to do? When you know you have to watch a movie, to if you want to, or you want to talk about it, and you have to get through it, even though the movie may make you uncomfortable, or you've heard it's not very good, or do you have a hard time watching a movie like that all the way through?
No, usually not, because I like to be fair. And in order for me to be fair, I feel like I have to watch something from beginning to end, So even if I'm not enjoying something that I'm watching, which is rare, it really is, it's a rare thing. Um, but even if I'm not, I'll still finish it, just because how am I supposed to talk about something if I don't really know what I'm talking about, right? So I think it's important that if you decide that you're going to do a review on a movie, or you're going to watch a movie and talk about it with somebody, that you actually do watch the whole thing. So
Sure, sure. Which is why, it's, yeah. Let's see. Reed says that Skinamarink was the longest 1 hour and 40 minutes of his life. Um,
yes.
so I guess Reed's saying that he really liked it because it seemed that, like when you watch a movie you really like, it does seem to last a little bit longer. Let's see. David says Skinamarink is one I have no desire to see. It looks artsy fartsy.
And it is.
Oh,
It no offense. I
I
know
wouldn't
you
say
liked it, Patrick. I know you liked it, but I have to say what I really feel about it. I really felt that was the most student film thing I've ever seen in my life. I thought it was hard to watch. I got the story within 30 seconds. I understood what was going on, immediately. And I found it, I wanted to see something in it that I liked, but the problem is all I could see was corners and shadows and light, and then feet every once in a while. So I felt like I wasn't really seeing anything. They were giving me the story though, and I got that part of it. I understand that there was I don't want to give away anything too important. I mean, it's been out for a long time now though, but if you guys plan on watching it, you might want to because
yeah.
I'm going to have to talk about it. I got the plot right away. I understood that, obviously the dad was abusive and killed the family. And it was hard for me to keep going because I already figured that out.
Is
So
that what you picked up on that? You picked up that the dad killed everybody?
yeah, because in the beginning, he calls his wife on the phone and says, "Oh, so his little boy, I can't remember the name of him right now, fell down the stairs, but he's fine. He didn't even need stitches." But it just, there's only one reason in a movie like that to put that line in there, and that's to show that the dad is trying to cover up abuse. And then he's like, all the whispering saying, come up here," and then she's like, they're both saying, "Daddy, where are you? Daddy, where are you?" And "Mommy, why is mommy
Mm,
crying?" So I just figured that it was an abusive father situation.
I didn't pick that. I didn't see that. I didn't pick up that one at all.
What did you
Not
think?
no. I think that it was this. I think it was a haunted house story. I think it was a haunted house. I think it was a spirit within the house, and it slowly, slowly drew in like this until the end, and then we see what happens to the kids. But I didn't get any. I didn't get yeah. But see, that's what so makes a movie like that so cool is because it's so open to so many different interpretations.
Well, the thought had crossed my mind that it's like the others. So you could be right. It could be that that whole thing was a ghost story and we didn't find out what actually happened to make them ghosts until the end. That did occur to me. So I think you're kind of right there, because I do think that at the end, everybody in that house was dead. The kid,
Yeah,
he calls up the 911, right? And he says, I want to leave, but there's no door. The door is gone. So that told me that there's something supernatural going on there. So I
right.
figured that I figured the dad had killed them all.
Definitely. There. Let's see. Hey, Echo, how are you? How are you? I don't think it was artsy fartsy though. I definitely don't think it's artsy fartsy. I definitely think it was. I think it was really moody. I think it was moody. I think it was mysterious. It was definitely. It definitely open. Like I said, it's definitely open to a lot of interpretations. It's a fascinating movie. It is also a movie I will say, and I said it before. It's like I like the movie, but this is not a movie that you're gonna love. This is a
No,
movie. Yeah, you're gonna watch this movie. The only time you're gonna watch this movie probably after you see it is when you turn around and you show it to friends.
yeah, I'm not even gonna. The thing is, I'm not gonna recommend that movie to anybody because, to be honest, I was so bothered by the filter. I feel like I didn't really see anything. You know, um, I don't feel like I watched anything. I feel like I heard the movie. I don't feel like I could see through that filter enough for me to pick up. I was actually waiting to see something the whole time. I felt
Yeah.
like I was waiting to see something the whole time. And instead, all I could pick up was shadow and light and feet. So I was like, well,
So,
it is what it is. But I honestly am so distracted by that filter that I can't give it any. I can't even give it half a heart. I'm only going to give it about half a heart
yeah,
because
we're gonna give it a one heartbeat. David's asking if it was A24. No, David.
Mhm.
Actually, this movie was IFC Midnight. IFC Midnight and Bayview. Bayview had it, and they licensed it out to Shutter and IFC Midnight, but it was an IFC Midnight release. I know, different, right? Um, uh, but yeah, with only 10, and what's really interesting about this movie about two is there's only 10 minutes of actual humans on screen. You only,
right.
out of an hour and 40 minutes, you're only seeing humans in some aspect, some form for only 10 minutes. And that,
Right.
I think that will drain a lot of people's patience. I
It
think
did,
that,
it drained mine. I even came out of this room going, "I'm pissed." And Scott's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm pissed. I watched this stupid movie and I'm pissed." And he's like, "What do you mean?" Because he never hears me, hardly ever go off about a movie. And I'm like, I got such a bad headache now, and I'm angry because I felt like it was all pointless, and the filter was absolutely unnecessary. He could have shown all those same things without that stupid filter.
it's going to be interesting to see what the director does next. I'm thoroughly invested in seeing what he does next. I hope it's soon too. I hope it's sometime next year he comes out with this next movie. It's interesting because it was so visionary. It reminded me very much of Darren Aronofsky's.
Yeah.
He does a lot of those allegorical films as well, and I really did appreciate that. And of course, you and I, what I really thought that you would embrace this movie. When I saw this movie, I really thought you would embrace it because it reminded me watching it very much of Eraserhead. I had the same vibe to it, and the same sort of creepiness and different and strange, and I had that vibe to it all throughout. Though Eraserhead is just a trip. Um,
Eraserhead is a good movie. It's one of my least favorite David Lynch movies, but it is a good one. All David Lynch movies are good. I'll put David Lynch above everybody else. So if I say I don't like a David Lynch movie, that doesn't mean I don't like the movie. It just means in his, like, ranking it against his movies, it'll come low, right? That's how I am about Inland Empire too. It's just, I can't give that movie any like street cred because it actually is so ugly to watch. It's so ugly, but so pretty at the same time. It's kind of confusing for me, but I like it better than most other movies, but I don't like it better than most David Lynch movies. So
Do you find yourself, because you're such a fan of his? I mean, I dare say that you're probably like the most dedicated a horror fan I know when it comes down to David Lynch. I mean, we all like him, but I think when it comes down to, really knowing his movie, knowing his style, it is you. I look at you sort of like the authority of Lynch. So do you find yourself comparing? You watch these movies. Do you find yourself comparing some of the movies you watch versus their style versus Lynch's style?
I do. Sometimes I'll watch something and I'll go, wow, that was really Lynchian. Like Darren Aronofsky, you mentioned him. He's his stuff is very Lynchian. Um, I really enjoy his movies. I've not seen Mother, and I've heard you mention that a few times. I have it in my collection. I just haven't watched it yet, and I'm going to, because I've heard so many people talking about that movie, and I think it's one I'm going to like. So,
It's a
um,
great movie. That's
Darren
another movie.
Aronofsky, uh, uh, Paul Thomas Anderson, Magnolia is literally like one of my favorite movies of all time. I love When It Rains the Frogs. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in any movie ever. And that totally reminded me of something that would happen in a David Lynch movie. So I really like certain directors I really gravitate to, because I like when a movie has really good cinematography and really good sound design too, but mostly I go for the visuals, which is why I really love The Exorcist 2, and nobody else does. It's because I see beauty in it that other people don't necessarily see. And I
Yeah.
have a lot of conversations with people about Exorcist 2 and why I love it so much. And I see that it's flawed. I know it. I totally understand that it's flawed, guys. It's just that for me, I really love the beauty of it so much, the way it's shot so much, that I could care less about the plot and everything. Plus, as a kid, some things seem more plausible to you as a kid. So that whole hypnotizing thing with the light, the whole sync light thing, I kind of thought that might be real someday. So I thought that was cool.
Uh, and Anthony's asking you, did you like The Exorcist 3?
Loved it. I saw it in the theater and it was awesome on the big screen.
I tell you one thing, those movies right there, as far as physical media goes, man, those things are hard to find. I don't
Yeah.
ever I run across The Exorcist all the time. I've seen, I see wherever I go hunting at, I see it all the time. No problem. Even today, I still see copies of The Exorcist. Man, I never see copies of 2 and 3. I never
I
see any of those.
I had to go to Scream Factory to get 2. I don't have a copy of 3, which I want to get one, but I have all the rest of them. I just don't have 3 for some reason. That one has eluded me. I usually go by what, a lot of times I'm thrift store can't talk all of a sudden. I'm store shopping. So it's more of a perchance kind of thing with me, rather than I'll seek something out. But every once in a while, there is a movie that'll go, oh, I need to seek that out. And that's one of them that I do. I do need to seek
Oh,
that one out.
right, right. Well, you saw me. I'm seeking one out too, and we got to talk about that too. We got to do a trade of some sort, because
Oh,
I
I
am
was going to
trying.
pull that out too. I forgot the Haunting of Molly Hartley. I have
Right.
that on DVD.
Do you have a grail list of movies? Do you have a list of movies that you're looking for? Do you you know
I do. I
do
do.
you? Oh,
Yeah.
you have to give that one to me too as well.
Some
Um,
of them I've ticked off it, which is nice, because I like to, be able to tick off certain movies on that list. But there are some that I still don't have, like Exorcist 3 is one of them. That's on that
right,
list.
right. Okay, okay. Hey, Mr. Bones, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Stephen is here. Hello. How
Hey,
are you?
Bones.
Glad you're here. Yeah, Bones is here. Our resident boutique Bala. That's right. Uh,
Yeah.
you mentioned you go to Screen Factory and you got a copy of Exorcist 2. Do you shop? Do you find yourself shopping those boutiques labels a
I
lot?
do. I told you the other night, or maybe it was even last night, that I purposely bought Existenz because of that slip having it's a hairy man's chest and it's textured. I can't wait to rub my finger on that. I just I saw
Uh,
Garrett doing it on Born to Be Rad. He was touching it and I was like, I want to touch that. So I had to buy
oh my
it.
God.
That's on its way.
I don't. I'm trying to think of the last. I'm trying to think of the last. I'm trying to think. Oh, that's right. That's right. We should pump that up. You are the resident queen of the horror YouTubers this month. You won a horror tuber of the month, and
Mhm.
awesome responsibility. And
Yes.
one of the folks that you nominated is in the room, and that
Yes.
is David. David,
Yep.
I hope me and the Cheetah, we voted for him. How could we not? I mean, orange cats stick together.
Yes. I have an
And
orange cat too.
do you have orange cats? Orange cats are. They, I don't know what it is. I get a lot of reels from a lot of people coming back. They send me a lot of reels back, and for some reason, I don't know why, but like 95% of them are always involved. 90 cats getting into some shenanigans.
Because
Um,
everybody knows that you love cats. That's why. I know you love cats. I send you cat things all the time.
I know. And they're always orange cats are always doing something funny. Uh, uh, but that's a lot of fun, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoy the cat. I enjoy my cat. But
Yeah.
David Diggs is going to be is nominated for horror tuber of the month as well. Um, you know what's funny is like I think about this a lot. Do you think about your favorite 10 incidents on YouTube, like your 10 favorite memories, like things that you remember? If someone said, tell me 3 or 4 memories that you remember with great happiness here on YouTube. Can you do that?
I can try to. One would be when I got to talk to Diane Franklin for an hour and a half on Region Free. Um, that was a that was major for me because Amityville Horror 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie. I don't think it gets enough credit. I think more people should be watching that movie and talking about it. And I think that kid who played the brother in that movie, he was such a good actor, and he only ever did that movie and then one small part in Firestarter, and that's it. He never acted again. And I thought that is crazy because he had me believing that he was possessed so bad that I had nightmares. And that's why I like that movie so
Mm.
much, because there's rarely do I have nightmares about a movie, but that one did give me nightmares when I was a kid. And so I have a special love for that movie, and it's in my heart. And so I had to tell her that. I had to tell her that. And talking to her was delightful. I really loved that. Let's see. Um Another one. I mean, there's memories from being on Twin Peaks Coffee Time. I have a lot of good memories from being on that show. But trying to come up with one specific one is difficult because there was so much laughter that was going on in that show all the time. And every show seemed kind of fun, unless I was having a bad time, which obviously I did have a little bit of a bad time there because I left the show eventually. So,
Uh, yeah.
um, but I think
But then you found us.
yes, I did. Well, that's the thing. I had found Region Free because well, it wasn't called Region Free at the time. It was called the Sausage Factory. And I used to watch them quietly in the background, and I was like, they're talking about Friday the 13th one night. And I'm like, that's it. I have to speak up. So I start talking in the chat, and I'm like, I hope you guys don't mind a woman in here because you're called the Sausage Factory. So I wasn't sure if you liked that. So I was just watching you quietly. And after about a month, they decided they were going to change the name of the show and add a woman. And they said, hey, you want to be the woman? And I said, yeah. So that's a great memory too.
Sure. Sure. That's
Yeah.
I think when hi Mike, how are you? From did you see that? He will be our guest tomorrow. I have two shows.
Oh,
Yes, his show is
awesome.
fantastic. Based in the UK, and
Nice.
he will talk about the movies. He actually reviewed a Wheezy Shark 2 and survived. He watched Wonka and survived. Uh,
Wow.
uh, yeah. Mr. Bone says that Jamie's back wall reminds him of Stranger Things.
Yeah, I've heard that. It does kind of have that kind of Stranger Things thing going on there.
Um, we were talking about favorite memories, and one of the memories I've had, after 3 years, and you would think it'll be, talking to somebody else, right? But one of my favorite moments of all time happened when we were doing the midnight hour, and David dressed up like Art the Clown and popped up. He has a costume. He had a full costume. He had it on, he had it on display, and he had that, and he had a Big Sam from Trick or Treat. And one night he actually dressed up in his Art the Clown suit, and he came on camera. Oh my God, it was awesome. He looked just like Art the Clown. It was just amazing. It was like, when you first saw him, you go like, whoa, that is just. I mean, it fit so perfectly. I didn't
So
I didn't know I didn't know the costume was designed for wearing. I thought it was just a display. I didn't think
yeah.
that you wear it.
Oh
But
my
no,
gosh.
yeah.
That's funny because there's a girl, Kristen, that I know. She has one of those big, tall, uh, clowns from outer space. You know, the clowns from outer space movie. She's got one that's the same size as her, and she literally took that costume off that clown and put it on for Halloween. It was so
Oh,
funny.
yeah, that was like one of my that was like we laughed our ass off. It was so amazing watching him show up in that. It was just like, man, look at because because David is sneaky. He's sneaky. He's clever, and I like, and that's a good thing because it's the last thing you think of is seeing a nice, quiet family guy like that, and next thing you know, here he is running around wearing Art the Clown costume. It was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, some of the people like Bones or myself, I could see us doing something goofy like that, but David made it work and made it work really well. It was like, that's so cool.
So you know that that Twin Peaks fan film I'm in. In order to do that fan film, we had an Indiegogo thing going. So we had to do we did like a 24-hour stream on here. And it was people, he just left it open and had the link there. So people were like coming in and out all day. And somebody kept coming in there, not speaking at all, dressed as Jason Voorhees. And we were all like, who is this? Who is it? Because none of us could figure out who it was. I think Cameron knew the whole time, though. But I found out like a year down the road, it was a whole year later, that was Piswell. That was Piz. So I had no idea. He'd come on there and wouldn't talk. And it was kind of creepy. It
Uh,
was funny.
that's what David mentioned here. He says it was an actual costume, and he didn't break character either. And he didn't.
Nice.
It was so fun. It was wicked cool. So what does it mean to you to be what does it mean to how did you like winning the Horror Tuber of the Month? It seemed the honor has actually, before is something that it's just something you really didn't think about too much, but it seems like the last 6 months or so that the idea of winning the month, it's actually taken on a life of its own, hasn't it? It's at least it's a little bit different now. It's like people would be like, "Hey, you won Horror Tour of the Month," and people would be like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
Now people are they're sort of campaigning for it a little bit. Uh, how did you feel winning it?
It felt awesome because okay, so I never ever expected that I would ever get nominated for horror YouTuber of the month. And because if I go all the way back when horror YouTuber of the month, when I first noticed it, it was because Garrett at Born to Be Rad was nominated. And he's on Dead Pit. I don't know if you know the Dead Pit guys, but I watch their show all the time too because they're the old school horror guys and I love them. So I go over there and I watch them quite often. And Garrett does a show with them. And they told Garrett, if you don't win Horror YouTuber of the Month, we're going to kick you off the show. So Garrett starts campaigning by telling everybody, hey, if you don't, vote for me, they're going to kick me off the show. And he won. And he actually won for the month of December, just like me. And so when Mayanne nominated me, I was completely floored, because I thought that I didn't qualify because, well, technically I still think that I didn't truly qualify. But I also think that people in the community, they recognized me for certain behavior in the community, and they were actually being appreciative of my behavior in the community, which is for me to go on other people's shows a lot, and for me to also be in everybody's chat when I can be, and trying to bring light and jokes and whatever goodness I can into people's chats, because I think it's important. It's also an important role to be in people's live chats and making sure to keep a light atmosphere, because there's a lot of people that come in with their attitudes and their sourpussness, and so I don't like that. So I try to chase it away with jokes or whatever. Sometimes I'm not nice, but
it gets a little frosty in some of these, and some channels. I mean, without naming names, there are some channels that I just I don't go there because there's too much drama. There's too much, ugliness. And I'm like, man, I don't need that. Who needs that?
Right. So I try to stay away from drama, but I do like to go into people's chats and, try to make jokes and just lighten up a place. Even I'll try with almost everybody. And sometimes I end up failing and I don't go back to that chat anymore. It just depends on the type of channel it is. But I feel like on my own channel, I haven't really been doing a whole like enough to be. I didn't think I had ever done enough on my channel to be considered a horror YouTuber of the month. So when Mayanne nominated me, I immediately went into the big chat we're all in, and I said, "Are you sure you want to do that? Because I don't think I qualify." And she's like, "I don't care." I don't care.
I get it.
You're nominated, and that's it.
It's about perspective. It's like, if you could do more for, sure, it's content's important. It is, but you do enough content.
I try.
And you started. I noticed that you started coming on live again, and so one time you pushed yourself for 4 hours.
5.
I saw that. Was it 5?
5 on the last one.
Oh my gosh, I was like, wow, that's really crazy. But everybody showed up, everybody had a great time.
I really enjoy it because for people to come in there, and the reason it ends up going on for 4 or 5 hours like that is because I want to converse with everybody. I want to make sure that I give everybody, attention in the chat and answer all the questions that are asked of me. And I hate for anybody to feel left out. So I always try to do my best to answer all the questions. And that's how come it drags out so long. But I also have told people that I got to quit that because it literally made me so tired the next day that I had to call and cancel one of my doctor's appointments.
Yeah. To the chat. I'll go to the chat here. Let's see. I'm going to try to make you some money here. It says Jami is wearing Beats by Dre. Yes. Very, very cool, Bones. Yep. Let's see. Mentioned David and his Art the Clown. See, how much, Mr. Bones wants to know, how much does Jami charge to be a guest? We need her on the midnight hour one day. And then Mr. Dan Horror came in from the Mudbloods. That was cool. That was a cool show. Yeah. And I got something for you too, Mr. Dan. I got to tell you what I got for you. And then I said that Hobbs needs to crack open the wallet because he runs the midnight hour, so he's the one that's going to be paying you. Let's see. David mentioned he was nominated once before, exactly 2 years ago. If I don't win, I might be kicked out of Coast to Coast.
Oh, what?
So that I was talking about that right before he came up. That we've been starting to hear whispers that the Coast to Coast crew might be reuniting in early 2024. I got to tell you, Saturdays. Saturdays are cool from 8 to 10 with the House of Horrors. That's cool. I'm so used to going to the House of Horrors, and then at 10 o'clock there was always Coast to Coast, and I really miss those guys a lot, especially with seeing Ben's Pizza and feeding the boys. Um, so I'm really happy if that happens. We really do need to see the return of Coast to Coast with Cody and Phil and Ben and David. That needs to happen. So hopefully that will happen very early or 2024. Let's see. And Mr. Dan thanked us for stopping by his live chat. That was a very cool live chat. I see he has some really some nice faces in there, new faces. I was good to see. It's always good to see new faces in a community.
Yes.
Do you notice that a lot when you go around to different chats? Do you notice when there's always new people?
I always notice new people. Well, not new people, new names, because I have a little bit of a trust problem because of what my stalker did to me. Um, it's hard for me to trust any new name I see, because
Yeah.
he would just keep making new accounts, new accounts, new accounts, new accounts, and attack me from all directions. So I get nervous now when I see new names because I'm worried that it might be him. So
He hasn't been around for a while. I mean, I think we last time I saw him, we routed him. He tried to come in one of our chats or a couple of our chats, including one of mine, and he ended up getting his ass kicked out. Has he been leaving you alone?
uh I think the last time he contacted me was spring. Um
It's been a while. It's been a long time.
Now it has, but I don't want I don't want I don't, knock on wood,
Yeah.
because um as soon as I bring it up and I say, "Oh, I think everything's fine now," then he comes back. So I just have learned, just I call him Voldemort, and who shall not be named.
Mm.
And I don't ever say his name because I feel like it's self manifestation. So
Do you talk with other do you talk with other women in the community? Do you like privately? Do you talk to them? Do they have any of them ever run across what you've run across? Because it seems like because there's not that very many of you in the horror community, and whenever a woman that loves horror pops up, they instantly get a lot of male attention because you're so rare. So everybody rushes on over there. Do women have any other women experienced what you've experienced that you met so far?
nobody that I've met, nobody that I've talked to has ever said. I mean, I've told them my story. I do think that there was somebody who had a very similar story to me about a year ago, and I can't think of who that was. But I remember comforting them because I wanted them to know that, oh, EA Horror, I'm sorry, that was not last year. That was this year. EA Horror had an issue, is
Yes,
having an issue.
not
And it
anymore.
reminds me of my issue because he did something very similar, and I felt bad for her. So I told her my story and I said, "You're not alone, honey, because
Yeah,
this is not unusual. I mean, there are people out there who you don't know, you never know if they could seem really nice at first, but then they might turn around and go a little bit bonkers on you, like Al did with me."
right,
Oops, I said
right,
his name.
right. Yeah, that was a sketchy thing. I think as all of us in the chat will, all of us guys in the chat. I'm looking at everybody in the chat, all the fellas there. I will say this. I mean, there are some creepazoids out there, but I gotta
Mhm.
say, man, when it comes down to it, if any woman is being harassed, I'm just looking at the chat right here, and there's a lot of formidable tubers on here that can take care of business. As far as like making people behave and and act in a civilized manner. I mean, I have never lost a chat to anybody. I've seen chats getting taken over. I've heard about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I've never experienced that. I got good wrenches and people are really friendly, but I'm a male, and it's a little different when it comes down to a female. It's like, whereas before I could tell somebody, say, "Hey, back off," and they will. But it's not so easy for a woman when that happens. When it happens. So
Yeah.
like EA had to go through that. I told her, just like I would tell anybody else, that situation happens, go to law enforcement. In
Yeah.
fact, my suggestion to that is what caused her stalker to drop his YouTube. They said I can't afford to have I can't afford to have the cops knocking on my door. I'm gonna quit my channel.
Well, the stuff that he was saying was super disturbing. You know, I,
Yeah,
I
what?
saw her video and I was like,
Yeah,
it ticked me off. It made me mad because I understand, because it's almost exactly how he was, except for instead of contacting me all the time, he was contacting my family. You know,
weird.
he would contact my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, my stepmom. Um, I worry about how many more he would find eventually, but I honestly do believe he has, I don't want to say that. I
He's
don't know if he's
definitely he's
disappeared.
crazy. I'm saying I'll say he's crazy.
He
Uh,
is. He's absolutely bonkers, and it scared me, and especially because he lives so close to me that I was extremely worried that he was going to come here, which that was hard to deal with. But now I know that he doesn't live close to me anymore. I feel okay about it. But I supposedly, according to, some people, I shouldn't have worried about it at all. But
that's not
that's
true. I mean,
easy for others to say,
yeah.
you know.
I just walked in a situation today where, without giving any names or a lot of details, but there's somebody who I know who I've talked to on the show, and all of a sudden they walked up with a crazy ass stalker on their six. And believe it or not, it's not a man, it's a woman, a stalker.
Oh, that
And
can happen too.
and uh and in fact, this guy lost one of his social media pages because of this person. And it's just, and he's fighting to get it back, but they could cause a lot of problems. um
Yes.
as I guess the more well known you become, like, like I said, especially for women in a war, like I said, it's rare. I mean, for every lady, there might be 50 guys, in that community. So it's not there's just not that there's not very many of you. So when you do pop up your head, everybody rushes on over. And that sort of overwhelming attention can cross the border.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess a real life horror film, so to speak. Um, let's see, let's see, Mr. Danho, coast to coast with tater and toast. That would be funny. That would be fun. Taters and toast. Um, let's see. Does YouTube have a way to report people aside from blocking them? You know what? I don't, not even really blocking them either, David. I don't even think they have a blocking. I mean, you could make it so they can't leave a comment on your page, but they still can come inside your chat.
Hmm.
I don't know how to block them from. Um,
Actually, if you block them, it blocks them from your chat as well. If you go into your studio and then you go into the settings section and then you go into I don't remember which tab it is after that, but one of those tabs has all of your like information, like, people that are your mods and the people that you blocked are at the bottom. And so any name you add in there, they're blocked. They can still put a comment in, but nobody can see it. And
right.
it blocks them from putting comments in your chat and your comment section.
Well, that would be
So,
effectively blocking them.
and I
That's
know this for a fact because obviously I had to do that many times actually. So, yeah.
David says he doesn't believe the elevator went to the top floor. Yeah, he's some kind of nut. He's some kind of pistachio.
Yeah,
Mr.
he didn't
Jones,
seem to understand the word no. You know what I mean?
no, no.
I felt
Um,
bad for her.
they can still see everything you do, just can't comment on your videos. Oh,
Right.
okay. Well, that's interesting. So you can sit there and just trash the hell out of them, and they can't really respond to it. I like it.
Yeah.
Uh, it doesn't stop them from just creating another channel. Well, that's why you block button there for.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube has not come up to that yet, David. I know that other sites do, where you block in when you get blocked, like Facebook does this. If you block somebody from Facebook, they since it'll they block you at the IP level.
Right.
So you can't make any channels. You can make channels, but they're not gonna it's not gonna work. So let's go to one of my favorite things, because it's the end of the year. It's the end of the year, and I just absolutely love this. And I want to know if you do this yourself or have done this on your channel. Do you ever do top 10 or bottom 10 lists on your channel?
I have never done a top 10 or bottom 10 list on my channel. I've never even done one. I don't think I did any on either of the other channels I've been on either. So that sounds like a fun time. I actually think that
Oh,
that would be fun.
okay. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Jami Heart will be putting out in a couple of weeks her what, top 10, bottom 10?
It'll be top 10. I always
Okay.
go for positivity before I go for negativity. So
So
it'll be top.
where was Skinamarink rate on your top 10 list? Will it be number 10?
It won't be on my top 10. That's in my lowest in life list, because I seriously, that hurt my head so bad. I was so sick that night, Patrick. I couldn't do anything for the rest of the day because I was just so, my head hurt so bad and it made me throw up. So that's what happens,
Uh,
migraines stink. They're the
hey,
worst.
Grease Knife, right? How are you? How are you? Glad you're here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What about you guys in the chat? Do you guys do a top 10, bottom 10, top 20, bottom 20? I already know my two. My number one will be Brightwood. Oh man, so good, so freaking good, and
Everybody said that. I got to watch that movie.
so good movie. And the bottom 10 that I watch, see, I do top 10 a little differently. I do mine as far as movies I've seen for the first time. So not necessarily because I don't get to go to the theater enough to get or buy new movies enough. But what I do is I put down movies I've seen for the first time, and then I rate them that way. And so number one will be Brightwood, and then my number one will be the Neon Demon. Oh,
And I love that movie.
no, you don't.
I
You just
do. I
really.
do.
Oh,
Listen, it is the most honest depiction of what it's like when you're in the modeling world that I've ever seen. Because I modeled when I was 15,
you must have
and
never saw Paper Dolls then.
look, when they show everybody standing there in their skivvies, literally they do that. They make you walk up there in your underwear and they judge you, and it's absolutely horrible. It gives you it depends. I mean, I suppose it can boost your ego if you're one of them that they want, which I happen to be one at that time. But I also felt like that it was belittling me to nothing but looks, and I can't stand that.
Uh, see, David said he just completed his top 10 horror movies. There's a lot I still haven't seen this year, like Salt 1000, uh,
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Cocaine, Insert Animal. Yeah, isn't that the truth? How many cocaine movies did we get this year? After Cocaine Bear, we had Cocaine Bear. I saw Cocaine Bear, Cocaine Shark, and Cocaine Cougar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whatever else is out there, but hi V, how are you? Glad you're here. Yeah, that's funny. But I just didn't like it. I don't like Nicholas Winding Refn. I
I
find him
I
so.
loved his color usage. I loved his framing. I I even loved the story, So I actually really enjoy the Neon Demon. I like that it's kind of creepy, but it's also colorful. I like that it shows you reality, a real, like, how that is really how stuck up these people are. That is really how they are. They are so shallow that all they care about is looks. And the fact that they put this supernatural aspect in with the other models wanting to ingest her, that is so important. because that is not about wanting to eat. That is about competition. That is not really about cannibalism. It's about competition. The girls in there will eat each other alive just to get to the top. And that's what that was really all about.
I don't know. I
And
just
some
stopped.
can handle the guilt and some can't.
Yeah, I just found myself going like, I never thought I'd ever see a director put Jenna Malone in a really bad spot, but hey, things do happen, and
She was good in that though.
but she was wasted. That she was totally wasted. That movie was just a car crash for me. It was all over. It was like trying to watch it while watching your clothes dry, in a dryer. Like it just kept going and going nowhere. It's like, and it's just like I just didn't like it as much as you did. Uh,
Yeah, I guess everybody's perspective is different, If it depends on what kind of perspective you're watching it with, and I'm looking at it in a technical way, because not only because I was a model when I was younger, but because I look at it and I see the way he frames things and the way he films things, and I think it's gorgeous. I really love Drive as well. So
yeah, it was funny. That's another movie. That's a whole another ball of wax. Let's see. People aren't going to be doing some tops list. Mr. Dan Horse says, I think you'll dig his top 5 of the year. David says, haven't seen Malum, but I have seen The Last Shift. Basically a shot for shot remake of a slightly bigger budget, from what I understand. Um, yeah, mine's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's see. The okay. Yeah, I think top tens and bottom tens are a lot of fun. I like to see the bottoms more than I like because every top 10 is always the usual suspects, right? It's always the usual suspects. The bottom tens or the bottom 20s, as long as they're not being mean about it, they're not being mean. If they can explain why they didn't like the movie, then I totally could appreciate that. It's like I didn't like this movie because then I can appreciate it. But bottom tens for me are just a lot of fun. They make me laugh. A lot of times they'll just make me laugh. I'm watching this couple on Instagram called the Never Ending Film Festival, and they're doing their favorites, and they're doing the top movies of years, the top and the bottom. I swear to God, they're doing it for trolling. They're trolling. That's all they're doing. Some of the movies they have for the worst, you just sitting there going like, I don't see how anybody in their own and truly in their own mind could call some of these movies bad. I just don't see it. I don't see
I'm
it.
interested now because I want to know what they're saying is bad, because
Oh,
I love trying to figure people out. It's like my favorite thing. It's like people watching, right? You're always watching. I used to love to go to the mall when I was young and watch people just walk around, see what they were shopping for. Me and my mom used to do that all the time. So now that's why YouTube rocks, because I can people watch all the time.
yeah.
It's awesome.
I'll send you the link to their channel, and it's like you watch it and you come tell me if you think they're being serious or they're trolling.
Okay.
Though, I'm just sitting there going like, man, I don't get this. I don't get how, and sometimes some of the bad movies they're put down are just they're summer movies or popcorn movies. It's like it's of course it's supposed to be loud and obnoxious. It's summer,
Yeah.
Swordfish is the worst movie of the year.
What?
How is that? How is
Swordfish rocks.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
what I'm
that.
sitting there going. I'm going like, I don't know, understand how you can say that because it's a popcorn movie. It's not heavy drama.
And not only that,
No.
it's got one of the weirdest scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. The whole he's sitting at the computer scene and the girl's under the
Oh
table.
yeah.
Oh my,
Mhm.
that's the weirdest thing I ever seen in a normal movie. I mean, that doesn't really belong there. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought,
No, it's like
wow,
yeah,
what is that doing there?
that was wacky. And I, and I think about that, and I think of a lot of sometimes the movies when people talk about this movie's bad, or this movie, it's like you're giving it too much credit. It's one of those movies you walk through the door, you put your brain next to the popcorn and the soda, and you kick back and just go away for a couple hours.
Mhm.
Now, but I think I sort of fried them a little bit because one of their movies that they put as one of the best movie was one of the movie oh, I just hated it. And that was The Hours. I'm like, man, I thought that movie was terrible. And
Oh, I actually like that movie.
and, and,
But
and yeah, but I'm just going like, and they're going like, and they're like, how could you not like that? And we're like, exactly. It's like I just didn't like it. I didn't think it was very good. I think it's overrated, overblown, and I just didn't. I no. It's just it wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. But it's a serious movie. It's and I can understand having a good discussion about it. But when you watch a movie like Swordfish, what are you going to talk about? It's
yeah.
guns, it's action, it's John Travolta. Who cares what's going? This is not a movie that you're going to sit there and have a deep discussion about afterwards. Other than, do you want to see it again? you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Right. It's
Um,
pure entertainment.
and you and I, we do have a movie that we do like a lot together. Actually, I think we probably have a lot together. But
Probably.
Van Helsing,
Oh, I love that movie. I just watched it.
yeah.
I watch it
Yeah.
every time I'm decorating my Christmas tree. There's certain movies that I play during that particular time period, and they all have snow in them or something. I always go through it for a theme, and that one is on my list every year, and I watch it every year while I decorate my tree. And
That's
I
so
just
cool.
love that one. It's so exciting and full of really great action. The special effects are incredible. I love Frankenstein. That's one of the best Draculas I've ever seen on film,
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
they actually made it so that it actually kind of relates to the original movies, like the original Frankenstein, original Dracula. So I thought that was very interesting how Universal was trying to bring back their Universal Monsters thing. I like that.
I
I
thought
think
so
they
too.
should do it again.
I certainly liked it hell of a lot worse. I liked Van Helsing a hell of a lot more than I liked the Mummy remake that they try to push with
I
Tom
hated
Cruise.
the Mummy remake.
Oh,
Poor Tom Cruise. I mean, I love Tom Cruise, but man, that was just a terrible choice on his part. It
of
was
course,
not a good
of
movie.
course, of course, all the guys, when we mentioned Van Helsing, everybody says I like Van Helsing because Kate Beckinsale.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Kate Beckinsale looked awfully good in that movie.
She's
Uh,
beautiful.
she is beautiful. Um, who are some of your favorite? Who are some of the people you? I mean, has that changed in the last year? Do you keep track of the faces? Because to me, I look at these movies and a lot of these actors, and it's like, holy shit, I don't know any of these people. I don't know anybody. Um, you know, do you keep track of new faces and watch the stuff that they do?
I don't really keep track of it. If they end up on my radar, it'll be because of a particular project that they've done that I was interested in. So it's more like what will draw me into something is more like the plot or the look of something. So like I know who Zendaya is. I know who, Sydney Sweeney is, because I like Euphoria. I watched the show Euphoria. I only watched the first season, but I watched part of the second season. I haven't finished it yet, but I really like that show, and so that's how come I know who they are. But in general, for me to catch on to who's like up and coming, the new it people, it's not. I'm not seeking it out, so I will only know if there's something about their project that interests me.
Let's see. David mentioned The Wolfman was awesome, but was a flop at the box office. Jamie has her. Jamie has her. Jamie has her hairy chest. Let me have my bumpy chest. Echo Zero says Kate Beckinsale never did anything for him. Never found her to be someone I would be drawn to. That's okay. That's why there was Sophia Miles and Underworld, just in case for that, because Sophia Miles is cat meow.
Was that the blonde?
Yes,
Yeah,
she was a real,
she's
cool.
pretty.
Do you
Yeah.
ever see Thunderbirds?
I don't think so. Is
Oh,
that
you
an
got
older movie?
came out the same time, about 2005 or so. She plays
Oh, is that the one where they're flying planes?
Yes, yes.
Does that got
Pete Cadillac.
Jamie Foxx in it?
No, that had
Oh.
Bill Paxton in it.
Oh, okay. I guess I
Bill
was
Paxton.
confusing it with the one with Jessica Biel.
No, see, no, that was the gosh, what was that? Was that the Kingdom?
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think that was the Kingdom. Oh, that's a great movie too.
Yeah.
The Thunderbirds came from the old '60s show where they had puppets. They're all puppets, but they made it into a live action film with Bill Paxton and Sophia Myles played Lady Penelope with the flying Cadillac. She was Barbie before Barbie.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh, let's see. Mr. Dan Horse says you two have convinced me to watch Van Helsing. Van Helsing is a joy. It is a lot of fun.
It is
A lot of
awesome.
fun. It is a. It's one of. It's exactly what an adventure movie is. Steven Summers did it. He directed the Mummy movies. Uh, yeah, perfect, perfect.
It might sound strange, but it's like you took Underworld and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and made a big mishmash out of it. That's how I see it. Kind of has the look of
It's
both.
such a fun movie too.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. I think today it's so rare now for a movie just to be judged on just for sheer entertainment value. It always seems like now every movie is so criticized so harshly, for what? I don't understand it. And it does seem like it seems like a lot of the bigger movies that are coming out, it seems like a lot of people are so happy to try to label them as a bomb, like a not a good
Before they
movie.
even come out sometimes,
Right,
right? And
right.
that drives me bonkers. That does. It
Ooh,
drives me nuts
we
because how can you judge something you haven't seen yet? You
yeah.
know? It doesn't
They
make
would do
sense.
no, they did that with the Walt Disney movie, not the What Wish, but the one before that. I think Inside Out 2 or something like that.
Mhm.
They tried to do it with the new Hunger Games movie. They were calling it a bomb even before it got released, and yet all of a sudden everybody's going to it over and over and over. And now it's making a lot of money. And now it's not no longer a bomb. It's actually going to do very well. That's I hate that. I hate the press media at times.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder whose side are they on? Are they on side of the actor side, or is there a joy? Is there sadistic joy in putting down somebody else's hard work? It makes you wonder sometimes.
I think
Um,
it depends on who's writing the review. I mean, there are people out there that are just looking to destroy everybody, and they're going to write a bad review, whether they really liked it inside their heads or not. That's the kind of people that I've been trying to avoid lately because I saw when Scream 6 was coming out, like everybody was saying, "Oh, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. It's going to." How do you know it's going to suck? You don't know. You don't know if it's going to suck, and it didn't suck, you know same thing with The Exorcist. Now, I have not seen Exorcist Believer. I will eventually, but like I said, I was avoiding going to the theater because I knew I was going to Scarefest, and I knew that being at Scarefest, I was going to be around thousands of people. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to the movie theater and taking a double risk for my health, because going to the movie theater for me is a bit dangerous because it's in an enclosed place, and if somebody sneezes or coughs or whatever in there, I could get it. And when I get something like that, it's 10 times worse than normal people. And a lot of times I end up in the hospital, which I hate because I hate doctors. you know? So
doctors are not among my high friends either. Though I did have some good doctors, but I don't. I ended up in the ER last week for a day, and it was not fun.
yeah,
It actually sucked. Yeah, your health. You had some health issues this year that slowly kept you back. But I noticed that it seems like you've decided to sit there to tell your health to go sit in a corner and let you live your life, because I've noticed the last 2-3 months you've really been aggressive as far as coming out and living your life, doing the live streams and being more active. It's like, I can either sit over here and wilt, or I can go ahead and take charge of my life and have as much fun as I possibly can. And you really seem to be in a really good place right now. Do you feel that same way? Do you feel like you're in a really good place right now?
no. And here's why I'm struggling a lot. This disease, it takes control of things that I don't want it to control, like my weight. I feel right now, you can look at me and say, oh no, you're not overweight, Jami. But yes, I am. And I don't like the way I feel like my disease makes me look terrible, makes me look ugly. I feel like when I'm sick and I'm fighting with it, I feel like people can see it on the outside, rather than and then they have no idea the internal struggle that I'm going through constantly with this disease, because one, it's incurable, so it's never going to go away. I'm always going to have to fight it, so I have to take a pill every day for the rest of my life, and it reminds me every day that I'm not like everybody else, and I hate that. And two, the fact that the way I feel about myself, I think that I hate on myself for having this disease. And so because that is occurring, and I blame myself, which is stupid, but I'm always like, did I do something wrong to cause myself to go back and slide back into the disease? Because I was in remission, and
Yeah.
remission was great because I felt good. I felt healthy. I felt like me. And when I'm out of remission, like now, I don't feel like me. I feel like I'm waiting to be me. I feel like I'm sitting in the background watching everything occur and just waiting for that moment to slip back into my body and be me again. Because this Jami, this isn't really the me that I want to be. uh, the weight is a problem, and the way it makes me feel about myself is a problem, because then it makes me not want to go on camera and talk about anything, because I feel like I don't look good. I feel like I don't look good, and so everybody else is going to feel like I don't look good too, even if that doesn't appear to be the way it is
Yeah,
in my head.
it's
That's the way it is.
psychological. It's a psychological hurdle for sure.
And I'm dealing with depression too, because I had depression long before I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, but the depression is much worse because of it. And that's also hard for me to handle, because it makes me antisocial, and it makes me not want to put myself out there. And when I am putting myself out there, I'm usually in a better mode, and it does help me to come on and talk about movies, talk about things that I love on YouTube, because then it gets my mind off of all of these other horrible things that I'm constantly thinking about myself. Like right now, I blame myself for what's going on in my body because I changed my diet again. If I would have just stuck to the meat and vegetables and said, you know what, I'm not going to let all that like McDonald's and pizza and all this other stuff influence me. I started to be like, I'm bored with eating just meat and veggies. I want pizza. I want McDonald's. And that has been bad for me, because I should know better,
Well, are you allowed to have like a cheat meal for that? I mean, I know a lot
I,
of people, they'll eat healthy and then they'll have a cheat meal, they'll go out there and have a McDonald's cheeseburger or something like that. But it's like for me, my cheat day is actually Tuesday. Tuesday's the one day of the week that I go out to and do and get something for myself. But otherwise, I cook everything else. But Tuesdays is my cheat day. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, though, right? It's just in moderation. In moderation.
No, I probably could do cheat days. It's just that, well, it depends on what it is. Like one of my main problems is that this disease has given me an allergy to gluten. So if I eat something that's bready, a lot of times it will make me feel icky the next day. Because
Send me some of that. Seriously.
yeah,
If I could get rid of bread and mayo, I would be 150 pounds.
yeah, I really, it's so hard for me I was doing really good with that. And then just one day, and it probably is because the Region Free guys were constantly talking about junk food. Like, what's your favorite McDonald's? What's your favorite Burger King? What's your favorite this and that and this and that? And I'm like, oh my God, if I have to listen to this. So then I started saying to my husband, hey, let's get McDonald's. I can do one McDonald's this, for this time. I can do it. And then a week later, I can do it again. and then pretty soon it got to the point where I started feeling icky, which makes me also want to get that stuff more often, because it makes me not want to cook, because I start feeling too sick to get up and cook food. Because that's the problem, is that cooking food and eating fresh all the time, which is basically what I should be doing, it takes time. And that time, I always have had a problem with food and time. My best friend Holly once described it as, Jami sees food like a chore. She doesn't eat because she likes to eat. She eats because it's a chore. And I looked at her and I was like, this was in college. I looked at her and I said, oh my God, that is the most accurate description of my dietary habits that I've ever heard in my life. Even my mom didn't say stuff like that, And it's true. Food for me is a chore. And so I struggle a lot with all of these emotions and these things going on, with having to have enough energy to get up and cook my food, first of all, and then to keep consistent with it. I did keep consistent with it for 3 years, but I lost control.
So, yeah, I can understand, being a little bit frustrated with that, like, it's frustrating because you feel like you've done everything properly and correctly, and it's like, why can't I have just a little break time? But
Right.
at the same time, it's like, yes, you can have a little break time, but if you do more than a little bit than a break time, then everything, all the hard work that you work for, all comes back on you, and then you have to start all over, and that definitely can see why how depression can get, kick in.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that it has nothing to do with my getting up and like being an active person. Like, I could be exercising and it won't make a difference. I still won't lose the weight. It's because of my diet. When I first started getting sick, I was coaching cheerleading, and when I was doing that, I was how old was I? I was probably about 43, 44. um I was doing all those things with the girls. Like, I was jumping and I was, twirling, and I was doing the cheers with the girls. Somebody's got to teach them, so I was doing all that stuff, and still I was slowly gaining weight. And I knew then that I was like, something is really, really wrong. And also, that was right around the time when I started to lose my voice and my
Mm.
ability to sing. I was doing a karaoke contest in town, and I was doing really, really good at it. And then it started to hurt, and I'm like, something isn't right. So finally, after the contest was over, I went to the doctor, and she just went like this, and she's like, oh yeah, you got something going on with your thyroid. So that's been one of the harder things for me, is, the adjustments to, I have to try to convince myself that, food is the issue. I could run a marathon and it won't matter, So it's about my food intake. So,
Uh, uh, is it hard to shop for your food for your dietary? I mean, is it, now food has gone up, to be more expensive. I mean, it's like, for people who have to eat a fresh diet, man, I can't even imagine. I mean, they tell you, on one hand, they tell you that processed foods are just absolutely the worst thing for you, and you sit there and say, I agree with you, but it costs like $3, and for me to eat fresh, it's going to cost me like $13. I got to go, or my money takes me. They say, well, don't eat that, eat this. But it's like, this is so prohibitively expensive. It's got to be sort of frustrating to try to maintain your proper diet, isn't it?
it is, but more, it's less about the cost of it and more about the time for me. I actually find that eating fresh food has been cheaper in the long run, because um, you actually get more filled up when you're eating fresher foods. When you're eating the frozen foods, a lot of times, it's got preservatives in it. It's got, additives in it, things that, take the nutrition down a little bit. And I've never really been a big fan of like frozen food anyway. So it wasn't really a difficult switch over for me. As far as meat goes, uh, I'll buy my meat at Wegmans a lot, but every once in a while we get half a cow. slaughtered, and we go in with my husband's brother and get a cow, and then we just split it up. And
Okay.
that works really well. And I think it's really healthy, because then I know that this cow was raised in this area, and also that it ate the grass in this area, which is actually really helpful for people, because if you're eating local foods, then you're getting local pollens, and you're less likely to get allergies in your local area.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Open. What do they call it? Free ranging.
Yes.
Let's see. Let's see. Let me go back to the chat. Everybody's talking still. Good. Good. I'm glad people are probably taking notes on what not to eat anymore.
They're
Uh,
probably like, oh, she's talking about boring sickness. Bleh.
uh, let's see. Let's see. Echo sitting there going. Let's see. Echo still talking about Van Helsing. None of the women in the Underworld movies did anything for me. Sophia, not even Sophia Miles. Man, there's something wrong with you.
Echo, are you in a bad mood today? I got
Echo.
this sensation that you're in a bad mood today. You better
Yeah,
get happy.
I think he's in a creative rut. I read his community tab earlier, and he said he was in a creative rut. I get that. I do. I took the month off. I took November off. I just needed to recharge the battery. I still was popping up here and there, not, but I didn't do any live streams. I think I did one live stream, but otherwise that I didn't really do anything. I just relaxed and visited.
Uh-oh.
The voice the voice of Mr. Hyde in Van Helsing reminded me a lot of the voice they use for uh, the possessed boy in the Pope's Exorcist. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Did you all like Victor Frankenstein with Harry Potter and young Professor Xavier?
I loved it. I thought it
Was
was
that,
excellent.
was that a crossover? I missed that.
It when did that come out? Like around 2011, 2012-ish, I think. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I like stuff that's different, but I like it when they take like an old story, from like the 1800s, and then they just make it fresh. I felt like they gave it a fresh story, and I highly recommend seeing that, to everybody.
Now I know what he's talking about. I thought he was talking about like a sort of like a. I thought that he was talking about an adventure with all the characters, but now I know which movie he's talking about. Um, the Bat is here, and he says he liked the animated short of Van Helsing. I did too. I got that one. That's great. David says, spoiler: Exorcist Believer is in his top 10. All right,
Awesome.
all right. Let's see. Let's see. See, Echo says he's making himself something to eat. Something healthy, I'm sure. I'm sure. So I was bummed out. Is there any way? Have you got any word on when your voice will be returned to you so you can start singing again?
I'm gonna have to just face it, that I don't think I'm ever gonna get my voice back. And here's what I've come to learn. Um, I've been, watching a lot of vocal coach videos on YouTube. And I know that the thyroid is extremely important in how you make sound. So, because the thyroid, I have nodes in there, and it's pushing all over my neck. It's pushing on my esophagus. It's pushing on my vocal cords. It's pushing, on the sides of my neck over here. Because of that, I can't open my throat far enough to get the proper notes out in the proper way. So what this has done to me is it has taken my range from about 3 octaves to less than 1 octave. And that is a problem. As a singer, you don't want to be trapped in less than an octave. You want to be able to drag out your range a little bit. And I
Sure.
used to be a soprano, and I couldn't do that. Now you can hear it in my voice when I talk too. Like I have a constant vocal fry. That is not something I'm doing on purpose. That is, because my thyroid is being constricted. the flaps that are in here, the flaps that you use up here to make like the head voice sound, I can't get those to open. So I'm constantly making like a squeezed sound when I try to go up higher into the higher registers. And
Sure.
that is, and it not only does that stink and doesn't sound very good, but it also hurts.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
So
like hell.
it does. Singing hurts really bad now, and I've cried so many tears over losing this ability, because this is something that I've been doing since before I could speak. Um, every day I would come home from school when I was a kid, and the first thing I would do was sit down in front of my stereo and sing for an hour, and it would always make my day better. And now I can't do any of that. And for me to try to get something out and it just doesn't come out, that's been one of the hardest things for me to adjust to. But I don't have a choice. I have to adjust to it and realize that it's not going to I'm not going to be able to sing anymore.
Mm.
um I don't know if you know the band Oasis. I'm sure you do, actually.
Yep, yep,
um
yep.
well, the lead singer has Hashimoto's, and he can
Okay.
never sing again either. He's
I
tried.
knew there was a singer that I had booked for a show. His name was a country singer named David Kirsch, and he came out and played, and he was on his way up. Oh my gosh, he was on his way up. Yeah, he toured with Clay Walker. I mean, it was great. And then he just vanished, and something like that really happened to him. He lost the ability to sing. He never got it back. I
Yeah.
mean, he never got his voice back, not to that same level.
Now
And
I asked my doctor, about getting my thyroid taken out completely, and because right now, right now, since it's in there, it is making a little bit of chemicals to help run my body. So taking it out might not be the best way to keep myself healthy. Um, my brother had his fully out, and I don't know. He seems to have a lot of struggle in trying to regulate um, the hormones after getting it removed. So I don't want to have that struggle. So I don't know yet. I don't know if, and getting my thyroid out might not bring my voice back, because you use your thyroid to make different sounds. So because that won't be there, I don't know if I'll be able to do all those little things, all the little things that you do in your throat to make the different kinds of sounds. So I don't know.
we gotta.
I have a little bit of hope, but that's
Uh,
it.
what do you getting the one last chat here for the chat. We're going to be wrapping it up here in a couple of minutes, but I do got a couple of more questions for you. David is going. Let's see. Okay. James McAvoy and Daniel Radcliffe was in Victor Frankenstein. Yeah, I
2015.
got that movie. I got to watch that.
Oh, you
Uh,
should. It's so good.
David says singing with a sore throat is very difficult,
Yeah.
and he feels bad for you. And Liam Gallagher, yes, is still singing. He cannot do what he used to, but he still manages. Yeah, but you know
Yeah.
what? I'm sure he still sings, but when you're used to a certain level that you're used to hit, and you're used to that. I mean, you're still singing per se, but man, it's got to be, but you're not hitting the same notes you were or sounding the same. It's got to be a little bit discouraging. Um, oh yeah, man, we should mention that Shane McGowan passed away this week from the Pogues. Um, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. Um, what do you plan? What do you got plans for 2024? You got any? Let's go with your channel plans first, and then your life plans. So, what do you got planned for your channel? What do you want to do?
Well, right now I am working on learning new software, new editing software. I got a whole new computer, and when that happened, I decided I was going to try out something different, because I was just using a simple, Windows Movie Maker to make my videos. now, now I wish I would have kept that, because trying to learn this new system has been murder. I mean, I asked Knight, I asked Destin, I asked so many people. I'm like, can you help me learn this program?
And
It's
nobody.
DaVinci Resolve. And
Okay.
I've asked people if they know anything about it, and they're like, whoa, that's pretty advanced. And I'm like, shoot, I always do, I above and beyond what I'm supposed to every single time. So I have to I'm trying to find a new program, because that one I think is just a little too advanced for me. There's too many buttons, too many things to play with, and I get intimidated every time I go in it. So until then, until I learn a new editing system, right now it's just going to be live streams, and that'll continue into the first of the year probably, until I can get going on learning how to edit these videos. And once that happens, though, then I'm going to have a lot more creative stuff coming out. I have plans to do, skits and, fun stuff in my videos. I want to make them interesting. I want to do tier lists. I want to do top 10s, maybe even
Yeah,
top 20s.
I haven't even done that yet. I gotta try that tier list. I gotta figure out how to bring it into the StreamYard to do it.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that yet either, but I'll
Yeah,
learn.
I know
Um,
people do that stream list. I'm going like, yeah, I should do that. I should do like bring out the A24 tier list.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of movie reviews. I have plans to do a specific kind of movie review where I watch movies from my collection that I've never watched before. I have quite a
Mhm.
few. I didn't realize it until I started putting all my movies over here in my shelves, and I'm like, whoa, I got like a lot that I've picked up and just never watched. So
You gotta come in and do Dollar Tree theater with us, Jamie.
yeah, I've thought about that. There is a Dollar Tree here. I've only gone in there like twice. It's down by Walmart, and I could go in there anytime. I just always forget that it's there. So Dollar General's right down the road. So most of the time when I'm going to buy movies, I buy them from Dollar General. But that still counts, I think. It's still a dollar store.
It's $1.25 or under, and you can get anywhere where you can get a movie for $1.25 or under counts for Dollar Tree theater.
Okay.
So, and that includes if people give you stuff. If they give you gifts, you didn't pay for it. It's under $1.25. It counts.
I see.
And then you could, yeah. So I mean, a lot of my stuff is straight from the library. Because I get my stuff for a quarter.
Yeah,
And
you do. I noticed that. You go to the library and get your stuff a lot. I think that's pretty smart, really. They
oh
probably got some good quality stuff in there. So,
yeah, I just picked up one thing today. I picked up one. I put it out there. I put it out there like, okay, I saw it and I'm like, man, this is really cool looking. This is well, if I get this and I show what I got, I'll probably everybody will just clown on me. It's like, but I want to like, you know what? I don't care because this is a really good set, and I'm not going to be able to get something like this again for just a mere $3. And so I got a box set, a really nice collector's box set of Twilight.
oh,
And
nice.
yeah, I have never watched Twilight, though it seems like I have all the Kristen Stewart movies. I don't know
I
how that
have
happened.
all the movies and all the books.
Okay. So I have never watched it. So I got it for $3 because it was a quarter per disc. There was 12 discs in there for the movies, and I was like, this is really cool. I like this. It looks really pretty.
Now, just keep in mind that when you're watching the first couple of movies, remember it's for teens, right?
Right,
But
right.
once you start getting up into like the last three movies, it gets so good. The last movie is so good. I love that one. It's my favorite of all of them. The very last one, because it has the epic battle in it, and I just love that epic battle. It's so cool.
Let's see. See already. Look, I didn't even get out of this. I didn't even get out of this interview yet. Before it says here. It says Patrick is Team Edward. So I already know when that happens. People are gonna come by and drop comments. They're gonna sit there and say, huh. Anthony says, not familiar with Da Vinci, but one thing I would maybe suggest is to try a small test project. Also, there are lots of channels that have tutorials. Always refer to those for my tech questions. Yeah, I try to do that as well. I got to learn how to. I'm going to see how to use clips I just need an intro for my channel. That's what I want. I want an intro.
I
So
want one too. I had one at one time that Lauren had made for me, but Lauren and I had a little falling out, so I don't have it anymore.
oh, okay, okay.
But that's
Yeah,
unfortunate because
yeah, I don't know where I'll figure it out. I'll ask somebody if they want if they like to create a intro to help perk up the channel. It is a struggle to come up with ideas after, like, been on, like, this is going on my third year, and this is my, and it's like, you're right. I could sense Echo's frustration, because it's like, you go there and, like, I was got me thinking, like, wow, what do I do? I put out two different series of film reviews, and I do an interview show, and it's like, is it stale? Do people feel like, it's old or tiresome, or the same? I don't think it is myself, because it's like everybody's different. Every single show that I do is 100% different from the one I've done before.
yeah,
So I got that. I got a break there, but it comes down to coming out, putting out something else besides eight questions with. That's where I'm having a problem with. I don't know what to do with myself other than eight questions with. Like, what can we do to make, to spruce up the channel, to make it, to make it more fun to watch again, and how to promote it. I have no idea how to promote. And anybody has any ideas, believe me, I'm listening. Of course, Anthony from Fever Dreamland Theater, he does such a kick-ass job on his Twilight Zone. I mean, it's insane. I go over there after a couple of days after he comes out with a new video. It's thousands of people watching it. He's like the authority of the Twilight Zone, and people know it and support
once you
it.
find a niche, once you find one that works, that's kind of important because, like
Yeah.
for me, my niche is David Lynch. So a lot of people have asked me to do projects with them um, in regards to David Lynch, which I don't mind doing. I absolutely love doing that. I'm actually working on one with a gaming channel right now. So
Yeah.
um,
Yes.
yeah,
You're absolutely right. I mean, that would be something really fun to watch you do. To see you do a David Lynch deep dive on his filmography. That would be a pretty, or even the tree. Like, all the people have been affected by him or have been influenced by him, and have gone on to make their own movies that have worked underneath David Lynch. I mean, that would be insanely fun as well.
yeah.
Uh, David says he knows someone who makes intros. That'd probably be David right there. David. Uh, let's see. See, and then Steven says he'll come up with the intro for me. I'll record one with Christy from Nightmare Christy. Yes. You're watching the infamous Have Cheetah Will View, the wildest west in the horror genre. That would be right. That'd be about right. I'll go off. I'll go with that.
I like
Um,
that.
yeah, I do too. I like Christy. You know what? You know what's funny? Yeah, she's so much fun. She's such a sweet lady too. I think people really sleep on that. I mean, she's razor sharp. She is razor sharp. I mean, I'm sitting here on one hand, I'm talking to you and going, like, I don't know how to promote my channel, and I'm thinking to myself, going, like, that's because you're not asking the right person. I should go ahead and ask her, because she knows what to do. It's the hardest part about YouTube, I feel, is to promote.
Yeah,
Um,
it
it is.
is because you want to get your name out there, but it's not easy to get your name out there on actually YouTube. You know what I mean? Because you
Yeah.
have to depend on their algorithm, and that's
And you don't want to,
not easy.
you don't want to throw out the, like, if I went out there and I talked Scream 7, I know if I put everything I had on Scream 7 or whatever, I know it'll start tracking the traffic, but I don't want to do that. That's not who I am, so I don't
Right,
do that. But I mean, I know that works for people, because, you and I both know we've seen people who do that, and it
right.
works for them. But it's like, that works, and you're out there, but your creativity is next to nothing.
Yeah, it's
It's
starting
like,
to actually bother me. I keep it on the down low, about things that bother me in the community. But one of
Uh-huh.
the things that does bother me right now in the community is that people will write, in their like headers for their shows or their videos, Scream 7 question mark, Halloween next, what are they going to do in Halloween next question mark, and it's like, well, Halloween ends happened, so Halloween's over. So why are we talking about it? Scream
Right.
7 is now done. So why are you putting Scream 7 question mark? You
Yeah.
know, and it feels like baity,
Clickbait.
and that bothers me a little bit because it feels a little dishonest. But
Yeah.
these people are super fans of these movies, and I just am not. I mean, I'm a fan of them, but I'm not a super fan. Like there is no series of movies in the world that you're going to get me to go, I want another one. I want another one. I want another one. Give me another one. I won't do it because
Hold my cheetah. If I brought out my IFC movies out here for you, all 250 of them, and I said, "Listen, Jamie, you go ahead and sit there and watch through all these puppies. Believe me, you do it, and
that's not what I mean, though. I mean franchise, but I won't use the word franchise because I have banned the word franchise from my mouth because that makes our horror, right? That makes
Yeah,
our horror fast food horror. If we refer to it in terms of corporate in corporate terms, then
right.
I feel like we're giving them fuel to give us more crap. So
I agree with
I'm
that.
for now, I say series now. So when I say I don't, there's no series of movies that I would, want more of. I mean, like Friday the 13th, Halloween, Scream, Saw. I'm not going to ever ask for more. You can give me more. I will watch it if you give me more, but it doesn't mean I'm going to like it. And I'm never, ever going to ask for more. I'm never going to pre-predict what's in a movie because that's ridiculous. No wonder people go into movies and come out upset. They're already saying, I want to see this, this, and this, and I better see Stu or whatever in Scream. And I'm like, but that's not your decision. So if you go in there with that attitude, you're going to come out disappointed, right? And that's just not me.
Hi, Anna. Anna is here.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Hopefully, you're doing well. Let's see. Uh, let's see. You know what? I think you're gonna end up doing being nominated. If I have my way, Steven, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna try to get you nominated for Horror Tuber of the Month.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
4 nominees on my channel right now that you can
I
go vote
know.
for. And, if you
David.
vote for them, maybe they'll nominate you when they win.
I definitely voted for David already. I had to because he's badass and he's also a musician
He
and
was
he
the
also
first person I wanted to nominate. I thought of him first. So
yeah I can't I can't begin to tell you how much I hope that they come back with Coast to Coast. I am I am because I'll tell you who I heard it from. We heard it from Phil's Creepy Vids that the Coast to Coast might be reunited. So I
Phil's
spilled the beans
awesome.
on that. Phil is awesome.
I love
Uh,
Phil.
and Saturday nights needs to have another fun needs to have the Coast to Coast boys back.
I was
So
going to take Saturday nights though.
oh, are you?
Yeah, I was trying to keep it on the down low, but that is my plan, is that I've been trying to pay attention to what nights people go on most often and what nights people are not around. And it seems to me like nobody's ever doing anything on Saturday nights. So I thought, well, if nobody's going to do anything on Saturdays, maybe I should do something on Saturdays because that'll give everybody a place to go,
What time
party
would
at
you
Jamie's.
what time would you start it?
Probably 8 o'clock. I'm
8 o'clock.
more likely to do an 8 o'clock show, but I could do one a little bit later if it's asked of me. Or I could do an earlier one even if it's asked of me. But that is one of my plans, is to do a weekly stream. So I have to that'll motivate me. I need to vote. I need to motivate myself to get back into doing things on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And that will help me in the long run with all aspects of my life. So I really want to get on that because I need this. I need this outlet,
I
you
sense
know?
that I sense that when you're doing your live stream, I sense that you really were happy to be there. You know,
I
to
am. I'm
talk
always
about.
happy.
Yeah, it was like, wow, this is like I said, this it was cool seeing you out there and pushing yourself. You know, and everybody stayed. Everybody came over and checked you out, and they stayed. I mean,
Yeah, I
it
had
was a
like
really
30
good
people
show.
in there at once.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm lucky if I get 30 people total in a month, and you got it in one stream. So
Yeah. I feel like I've tagged people along the way, you know, because I've been doing YouTube now for, let's see, I started September 2018. So I've been doing about 5, 6 years. Um, and along the way, I have, you know, tagged, you know, some people along the way, and they're following me now. You know, some of those people that were in there were people I've known since all the way back to Twin Peaks Coffee Time. And they watched me on there, and they followed me to my own channel and to Region Free when I started doing that. So I have a lot of love for my fans and for people that have stuck with me throughout all of the things that I've been through. So it means a lot to me that they come in there.
I think everybody here can say the same thing. You know, you know, it's really cool to look to your chat and you see the familiar faces there trying to supporting you and getting the chat going, like Steven and Echo. I see David once in a while. I mean, I know if I book Christy, I know I'm going to see David. Um, I mean, that's just an automatic, and that's a good thing. I appreciate it. Um, but you know, that's part of my job too. You know, is to try to bring people who bring a lot to the party. You know, to talk to them, make sure they're interesting, and hopefully everybody will enjoy listening to them. And that includes tubers as well as directors or actors or artists or whatnot. Um, all right. It is going to be time for us to go. But I tell you what, we will have a one last minute of people. If you have any questions, if any of the people in the chat have any questions to ask Jami, feel free to drop your question in.
I wanted to show you guys my T-shirt. It says Whisker Wonderland.
Whisker
See,
Wonderland.
Whisker Wonderland.
Is that a cat? Is that a cat shirt?
Yes, I get them every month. I get a cat subscription box, and every month I get 3 new toys for myself and 2 new toys for each cat.
That's
So,
amazing. Are you, do people send that to you to review, or do you have to buy it?
I actually, it was a gift actually.
Oh, okay.
3 years ago, on my birthday, my husband got me the cat subscription box, and
Okay.
I've been getting it ever since. And I get a new T-shirt every month that's cat related.
Okay.
So
Well, that's awesome.
yeah.
I think your stream on Saturday should be cat centric.
You know what? I should do those like I should open those boxes on my show,
You should.
because maybe I can get the cat lady, because it's called the cat lady box. If I can get the cat lady company to pay attention to that, maybe they'll sponsor me or something.
There are a lot of cool channels out here, beauty channels and whatnot, that have cats in it. Like my favorite one is Mary Catherine Loves Cats, and
Yeah.
I'm always shouting her out. But she has some of the cutest cats. She has Cammy, and she has Blue, and she has the world famous Smudges. Smudge is probably like right behind the Cheetah as far as being the most famous cat in the community. That's
Aw.
that's right. I said Paladin's the most popular cat. Though David might say Raina is, because Raina is pretty. Actually, Raina is pretty. But David doesn't come on enough. That's why the Cheetah wins. Um, but yeah, she comes up there and she has all these beautiful cats, and then she's doing beauty products, and it's funny as hell. She's trying to do her beauty products, and then this big ass Maine Coon walks across. I mean, Smudge is huge. Smudge is like twice as big as the Cheetah. I'm not sure if that's because of the fur or is because he's chunky. Probably a little of both. Sorry, Mary Catherine. But yeah, sometimes he'll just come in front of her and then flop down in front, and she's trying to do her show. It's awesome.
I wish my cats would come in here some more often when I'm trying to do my show, but they're They just don't come in here very often. They used to. They used to, like, as soon when I got this blue couch, they were on it immediately, and they were on it for like 3 months, and then they gave up on it and they went to off to
Well,
somewhere else.
I suggest catnip in the room when you go on.
I grow that in my yard, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, I suggest fresh catnip will work. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, See, Echo says, Jamie, you're going to check out the new series of Kyle MacLachlan's going to be in next year, Fallout, based on the game series of the same name.
I will
Um,
definitely check that out because if it's got Kyle in it, I'm going to check it out. I check out everything he's in. I absolutely love him.
See, Steven says, Patrick, so when are you going to make business cards? That would probably require me getting out of the house, which is probably, yeah. I'm pretty reclusive, and I'm not. Business cards work best when you're in face to face with people.
We don't
That
want to. He's making a joke about Patrick Bateman here. You see, so
um,
when do you make business cards? And
oh,
in American Psycho, he has the whole like business card issue.
right
Get
with
it?
yeah.
Wordplay.
Uh,
That's good.
see, Jamie needs to be the face of Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. I will go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming out and hanging out with us. Had an absolutely lovely time tonight with our good friend Jamie. She is the horror tuber of the month, and she will be coming up on Saturday. With your new show will probably be starting what, early 2024.
I'm thinking I'm gonna, yeah, probably after Christmas
Oh, yeah.
because I got to get through this month with everything that needs to get done, and then the new year will start, and I can start fresh.
So that will be happening on Saturday nights. Time to be determined. Right now, technically speaking, 8 o'clock, but we don't know. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Boneyard will be on tonight, right after we get done here. That'll be on Mr. Bones' channel. And tomorrow night we will be here for 2 shows tomorrow. First, I'll be here at 5 o'clock with Mike from Did You See That? He'll be here at 5 o'clock. I will be trying to save my voice because right after that show is done at 8 o'clock, we will be welcoming in the Variant Collective, group of artists from North Carolina, photographers, writers, poets, cosplayers, just extraordinary talent, extraordinary artists. We're going to have a panel up here tomorrow night with the Variant Collective here on Eight
Awesome.
Questions With. I can't wait for that. So I can't wait. I'm so excited for that.
I'll try to stop in.
It's going to be a fun show. It's going to definitely be a fun show. And Thursday we will have film director Marissa Vaughn from Iowa, another Iowan, to come in, and she's going to be talking about her film Knee High, which is just released and it's doing quite well for her. And we'll be talking to her about that. And then this Sunday at 3 p.m., we welcome in Elizabeth Chamberlain from the new horror film Grotesque. And she'll be here on Sunday at 3 p.m. All right, boys and girls, thanks again so much. Take care and stay right where you at, Jamie, for 1 minute. And to the chat, thank you so much. Stephen, David, Echo, Reed, anybody else that I miss, thank you for coming out and for your support. And we will talk at you soon. Mr. Dan and Horror, peace.
Bye.